Hi, welcome back. I'm Kristen, and in today's video, I'm having some fun with some pumpkins. As you can see here, I'm going to turn these pumpkins into pumpkin streusel bread and roast the seeds. So if you'd like to see how I do this, then let's get going. Keep on watching, and here we go. So I have two pumpkin pie pumpkins. Okay? Pick the small ones. It has a little sticker on the bottom here. There we go, pie pumpkin. And a little bit of instruction there on how to roast these bad boys up. So I'm just going to cut them in half and remove the seeds. Keep the seeds though, because we're going to roast them. I love roasted pumpkin seeds in the fall. How about you? Make sure you rinse them really well and put them in a fine mesh strainer and just get all that residue pumpkin-y stuff off the seeds and kind of pick out any leftover insides. Just get that off there. Give them a nice rinse. I'm soaking them because it's supposed to help digestion with the seeds later when you eat them. I don't know. I always do it. I had a little bit of salt. I don't know if that makes a difference. No, wait. I didn't do that. I have done that. But anyway, do it if you want. I don't think it really matters. Okay, and then to roast them, I have a big cookie sheet with a piece of parchment paper. And I'll just oil the insides with, olive oil or canola oil, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just so they don't dry out and it helps them to roast better. Just spreading all the oil over all the insides of the pumpkins, and I'm going to add just a little bit of salt. I don't think this makes that much difference. You don't really have to do it like this, but I don't know. I just did it and then spread that. I have my oven preheated. I think I went kind of hot. I think I went to like 425 for maybe about 25 minutes, I'd say. You just want to go until a fork is inserted easily and it comes out easily and they just look really done like this. See, you just you have to poke through the skin, but it's fine. Yeah, ready to go. So I found that if you remove the skin while they're still hot like this, being very careful, of course, not to burn yourself using the tongs, the skin just comes off a lot easier. I thought if they cooled too much, then the skin would stick too much and it would be harder to peel it off. So I just did it right when they came out of the oven and it worked out really, really fine. So there we go. Taking it off. And then let it cool for a little bit and then put it into a food processor and let it go on high until it's completely smooth. Doesn't take any time. I didn't have to add anything to it. Just put the pumpkin in there and hit the high button and just let it go for a minute or so. And it comes out very, very smooth and very, very nice. And one pumpkin yielded about 1 cup of puree. So I had 2 cups of puree altogether with the 2 pumpkins. And I used a cookie scoop, and with the leftover puree, because I only used half of it, I just scooped out the rest of it onto a piece of parchment for my dog. And he will be able to enjoy some of this pumpkin on his dinner, right? Okay, so there is quite a bit of water in vegetables, right? So I'm going to get a bowl, put a strainer, and then put a coffee filter inside of the strainer, and then put my pumpkin puree in there. And I just let it sit overnight with the towel over it in the fridge and just kind of let the water drain away, because otherwise I didn't want to have a really wet pumpkin bread. That wouldn't be good. So I think that's an important step, is to drain your pumpkin. Take that if you will. I don't know. Okay, and now in between here, I'm going to do the roasted pumpkin seeds. So I just drained the water off of the pumpkin seeds, put it on a cookie sheet, paper towels, pat them dry as good as you can, and I just got some olive oil, and I'm going to cover and coat these pumpkin seeds. So, and toss them around in that oil with a spatula. This will help them get nice and golden brown in the oven. And then season up with whatever seasonings you like. I did garlic powder, onion powder, oregano, Lowry seasoned salts, a little cumin for smoky taste, a little depth of flavor there, some tahini, and some smoked paprika. You could also do regular, just plain old sweet paprika if you like, if you don't want the extra smoky flavor. But I like it. Just toss them around, make sure all the pumpkin seeds get coated in all these spices. And I have my oven preheated to about 375. So just put them in there, toss them halfway around, halfway through the cooking, toss them around, put them back in if they're not quite to the crispiness that you like. And then they're done. Look at this. I love them. They're really great for snacking, and they're just wonderful. I like them. Okay, the second recipe I did with this pumpkin is a pumpkin streusel bread. So to start, I have softened butter along with some brown sugar. Just creaming those together. And then I'll add in 1 cup of the pumpkin puree. Mix that into the butter and sugar. This recipe is a good one. Okay, it's really good. We've had quite a bit of it already. And then 2 eggs go in, mixing them in one at a time. Just, put it in until you can't see the egg in there anymore, and then add in the second egg. Just like this. I use large eggs, just like that. Okay. Now, moving on to the spices. So the spices are ground cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, cloves, and that's your pumpkin spice. And then the leavening ingredients, baking soda and baking powder, a little bit of salt. That will help it rise in the oven. And then 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour goes in. There we go. You don't want to overmix. I'm just trying to mix until I don't see the flour anymore, and then I'm done mixing. I'll remove the beaters, get out my spatula, and scrape the bottom of the bowl to make sure and not leave any unmixed ingredients in the bowl. Okay, now the batter is ready for the loaf pan. There are notes in the recipe that suggest using a light metal loaf pan, because you'll get a better bake on your bread. It will just evenly bake it better than a glass loaf pan or a dark loaf pan. It just really emphasized using a light metal loaf pan. So that's what I have here. I just lined it with a piece of parchment just so that the sides are hanging over, and it'll be easy to remove the bread once it's done. So in the meantime, making the streusel, so we have the flour. I set the loaf pan aside. It didn't go in the oven yet at this point. Okay. The pumpkin spice, brown sugar. Let's see, a good tablespoon of it. Oh, a half a teaspoon. Sorry about that. Half a teaspoon goes in. Whisk to combine. I love this pumpkin bread. I love these flavors. Just ready for the fall time. Ready for those warm flavors, spicy flavors. Just so good. So good. Breaking up any clumps of sugar we have in there. And just work that whisk around. And then we have 6 tablespoons unsalted melted butter goes in. Yum. Yum. So good. And this is going to go right on top of the bread batter. And it's going to melt all over it and leave like a little bit of a crunch on top from that sugar. Oh, it's going to be good. It is so good. I really highly recommend. Hey, this would be really good for Thanksgiving too. If you want to, bring something to add to the Thanksgiving table, this would be a great one to do. All right, so I have the streusel all mixed together, so I'm just going to sprinkle clumps of the dough all over the top. And then I have my oven preheated to 350. It's very good, very good. I love this dough. It's so good. So yummy. Yum, 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 yum. Okay. Here I am putting my little loaf pan in the oven. Makes one loaf. I could have, see, it's a little bit dark around the edges. Like I could have taken it out probably at 55 minutes, but I did 60 just to make sure. And it was fine. Next time I'll just cook it, I'll just bake it for a little less time and it'll be perfect. Okay, here I am making the glaze to go on top. So we have powdered sugar. You can use vanilla extract if you don't have maple extract. And I did not have maple, I used vanilla. And because I didn't have the maple extract, I did put a little bit of maple syrup in. Does that make sense? Okay, and then a little bit of heavy cream. I did just a tablespoon, or you can use whole milk if you want instead. I didn't have quite enough in here. See, it's a little bit dry, so I'm going to add another splash, and it was perfect. It will set really nicely on top of your cooled pumpkin bread, and it's going to be delicious. It does set completely. So make sure your pumpkin bread is completely cooled on a wire rack before you put the glaze over top, or it just might, just ooze and just be kind of messy and melty, and it's just you need to do it over a cooled loaf of bread. But anyway, that is the recipe. It is linked in the description box for you, just like always, and I hope you stick around and continue to come back to my channel. I love making videos for you guys, and yeah, it's time to get into a new mindset with the fall season, and we have the holidays coming up, a busy time, and I'm excited to create and share with you guys some new recipes, and yeah, happy fall, right? Ready for that change of seasons here, ready for the cooler weather. I love summer, but I'm just kind of ready to, slow down a little bit, change up the home decor, and let's just get cozy, okay? Let's get out some candles, wood stove fire going, and have some pumpkin bread, okay? So, thank you for watching. Thank you very much. I hope you subscribe. I hope you come back, and see you in the next one.